The Mornington Peninsula is one of Victoria's true gems, a biodiversity hotspot characterised by areas of national and international conservation significance. It is home to an incredible range of plants and animals, including the white-footed dunnart, Latham snipe, powerful owl, and growling grass frog, to name just a few. Sadly, historic land clearing for housing and farming has resulted in widespread vegetation loss on the peninsula. Fragmentation is a leading cause of biodiversity decline. Highly fragmented and altered landscapes pose a significant challenge to the survival of plant and animal species, particularly in a time of increasing environmental challenges, including increased fire risk and climate change. Having already lost over 11 local species of plants and animals, and with more locally declining, the Greens Bush to Arthur's Seat Biolink project set out to tackle this problem. It is creating a biolink, otherwise known as a wildlife corridor, to address a lack of landscape connectivity between the two most significant patches of remaining bushland on the peninsula, Greens Bush Mornington Peninsula National Park and Arthur's Seat State Park. Over the course of the project, the Greens Bush to Arthur's Seat Biolink has planted out 28 hectares of bare paddocks where natural regeneration was unlikely to occur. In total, we have planted 24,000 local provenance Indigenous plants. By re-establishing the links that plants and animals need for migration, colonisation and interbreeding, the biolink is also greatly contributing to overall catchment health. The planting of 24,000 native trees and shrubs has been no small feat and couldn't have been done without our partnerships with local schools, TAFEs and community groups. The newly growing forest of plants is already extracting an estimated 2,000 tonnes of CO2 from the air each year, which is the equivalent to 1/4 of the annual emissions produced by the 600 plus volunteers involved in this planting. Another main focus of the project has been tackling environmental weeds. In doing so, we have restored nearly 50 hectares of remnant bushland on private property. By removing invasive and habitat-changing weeds, we are greatly improving habitat quality for local animals and facilitating the regeneration of existing Indigenous plant species. Many of the potential linkages across the project area exist along Splitters and Drum Alec Creeks, so the Greens Bush to Arthur's Seat project partnered with Melbourne Water and their Stream Frontage Management Program. Through this initiative, 11 eligible landholders have received extra funding, helping to restore a further 8.8 hectares of riparian vegetation. Natural tree hollows are an increasingly scarce and yet very valuable resource for many native species. Trees take more than 100 years to form hollows. These hollows provide safe places for animals to shelter and in many cases breed. 11 nest boxes have been installed on properties with an absence of hollow-bearing trees to provide homes for local wildlife, including microbats, pardalotes, rosellas, owls, kookaburras and possums. In this way, we are able to support hollow-dependent wildlife while we wait for our revegetated areas to mature. On one of our Biolink properties, some sugar gliders have moved in and are happy to call this nest box home. To monitor the project, we have used a variety of techniques, from drones to record project areas before and after works, vegetation quality assessments, annual bird surveys with BirdLife Australia, and citizen science using fauna cameras. Community engagement has been a big part of this project. Over 40 community planting events and numerous educational workshops have been held, including nest box building, weed identification and control, and fox den fumigation workshops. The Greens Bush to Arthur Seat Biolink is delivered by the Mornington Peninsula Landcare Network and the Port Phillip and Western Port Catchment Management Authority through funding provided by the State Government's Our Catchments, Our Communities initiative, and of course by the generous participation of all 25 Biolink landholders.